Hi, this is Angela McFarlane and you're stamping with aMac. Today's tip of the week is all about designer series paper. Since it's on special this month at 15% off, I thought if you're anything like me, I could share a few tips with you about using up your scrap pieces of paper. So I love my designer series paper and I can't bear to part with it, even all these little scrappy strips that are left over. So I can show you what you can create using these small strips. So these were just leftovers from something else that I'd been making. They're about 1 centimetre wide. They're all pretty much the same width and they're all different lengths. So this is one of the cards that I made, and I'll be making one with you now, and that was inspired by this lovely card that I received a few weeks ago. Hi Sandra, welcome, thank you for joining me. So for today's card, I basically cut down my base layer, which will be the smaller piece that will get layered on top of the base of my card, and I start with a long strip. And I sort of start by positioning that on the diagonal. I get my liquid glue and I just put it over half of the card to start with. And with this Tombow, I love that it's got the two ends because you can actually squeeze glue through this end, and I should have done that, but I'm just using it as a spreader just to spread the glue out evenly. You don't need a lot of glue to do this, but you do need a little bit on there, and I may need to add a little bit later on, but that'll be enough to get me started. So there's really no rhyme nor rhythm to this pattern that I'm doing. There's no rules to follow. The only thing you do have to make sure is that you go over that corner completely. So I will line that up with my grid paper so I can sort of get the diagonal pretty straight, and I will just sit that there and squish that on, and then I'll choose a piece and sort of start around the middle there, and I'll just lay that down, and I just pick any of my designs and I just start laying them down just to create sort of a herringbone pattern. So all I do is I butt the pieces up right next to each other, and I try to pick contrasting pieces so there's a bit of variation with the colour. So I'll just change directions, and I've used some before and they've already been cut down, so they're all various shapes and sizes. And basically you just keep working your way around. I'll get my snips out. You do need a straight edge to layer them, so that always helps. And just looking for a little contrasting piece. I might even use this one here. Okay, so I've filled that section in. Now I'll keep going with this direction. And you can work pretty quickly with this, so the glue won't dry out. Oh, let's see. Sometimes it takes a little while to sort of decide which one you're going to pop down, but it really doesn't matter. So I've got a bit of a fluffy edge there. Need to change the blade in my trimmer. So you just keep alternating the direction of your strips that you use, but this is the perfect way to use up some of your scrappy strips that you may have. And all these extra bits over here we will be using as well. I'll go a couple of in this direction. Okay, so just bear with me while I lay these on. So there, we've pretty much got half of the card done. Then the easiest thing to do, I find, is I just go along with my paper snips and I'll just cut off the excess, which will give me a whole heap of extra bits and pieces to use for my other half. And it just sort of makes it easier to keep working with it as well. So now I'll add a little bit of glue down this side, and you do need to sort of go fairly close to the edges as well, because when it comes time to glue down all those really little bits and pieces, you don't want them falling off. And it's also handy to cut your piece that you're gluing everything onto, this layer, a little bit bigger than you want your finished product. Then it'll be a lot easier to trim it up at the end as well. So what I should have actually done was trim these up now, but it'll still work, we'll still manage. Okay, excuse my hands in the middle. So this one, I don't have a strip long enough, but that'll get covered up by my greeting in the middle, so no one's really going to notice that. And then I will, here's my blue bits. And you really don't need to follow any particular order. You can do the classic herringbone where you put 2 or 3 in a row and then change direction, or you can just do a random pattern like I'm doing. And as you can see on the other finished card, it doesn't look too bad. Doesn't look too bad at all. So tell me in the comments what you're doing this lovely Friday. I know Sandra's joined us from the UK, so she's probably getting ready to go to bed, being Thursday night. I'll respond to your comments when I'm finished because I can't see them while I'm working away. Whoops, see this one is a little bit short there, so I'll find another piece that is longer, that's more suitable to use there. I can use that one there. Oh, that one's only just, but that's okay because we'll be snipping off a piece, little bits and pieces there anyway, so that won't matter. No, that one's going to be a little bit too short. I can sit that one there, and then pop that one there. Well, we've got a nice sunny day here on the Gold Coast today. We're very lucky. I hope you've got a nice day wherever you are and where you're watching from today. So I hope you're enjoying this scrappy strip technique. It's a fantastic way to use up all of your scraps. There we go. So, and I'll still have bits and pieces left over that I can do more with. So there, I've got that. The easiest way to cut this off is to turn it over and just trim off the excess. Some of those little bits and pieces I will part with, and they will actually go into the rubbish, but the older ones I can still use. So that's what I've ended up with, just a random pattern, but it looks not too bad. Excuse me. So I will get my trimmer out, and maybe the easiest way to do this is to actually turn it over, and I'll only be cutting off a little bit, but that will give me a straight edge to start with. Just get rid of those bits and pieces. Then I can pop that in there. It's probably better to let your glue dry, so you don't get glue over your trimmer. I will need to wipe my trimmer down. So I'll see what I'll come to 9.5 centimeters. So that's basically a centimetre narrower than my card. So I'll have a 5mm edge. So my other card size is 14.8, so I will go to 13.8 centimeters, and that will give me a nice even border for my card. So this card base I used early espresso, and on this one I'm using soft suede, so just a little bit of a contrast. So then I'll just stick that onto my card. And actually you can run this through an embossing folder first. I might just do that and I'll show you. There we go. The joys of doing a live. Random things pop into your head. I'll just get my new embossing machine. This is the new Stampin' Up, Stampin' Cut embossing machine. And I will pick an embossing folder to use. This is a 3-dimensional one, so it's thicker than the usual ones. So I will just pop that in. But an easy way to know what the front of your folder is where the Stampin' Up logo is. So that's another tip for you too. So with this one I remove all of my other platforms because it's thicker, so you have these that all come with it. So I take that one out, otherwise it'd be too thick to run it through, and I just pop that onto my big base plate, and I use the grey plate and run it through. A good shot of my hand for you. Move that out of the road. And this is a really nice subtle folder. So that's just really meshed everything in together. I'm not sure if you can see that texture coming through there, but that just gives it an extra little bit of dimension as well. And I love running it through the embossing folder, and I forgot to do it on this one, but you can see the difference between the two. And I get my card and I'll pop some glue. I love my Tombow glue. It's so handy, and it gives you that little bit of extra wiggle room as well. So that will go on my card. Squish that down. And then I just stick my label. I've pre-cut the labels in case you're wondering which labels I've used. These are from the Painted Labels dies, which was that beautiful poppy set that we had. And I think these shapes are nice masculine shapes as well. So that was all of these. And I've also used the greeting I've used from the Peaceful Moments. This is a fantastic set of greetings, and I really love the fonts on these as well. So I've just popped some dimensionals on here and pre-stamped that. And there is my finished card using Scrappy strips from Designer Series paper. Since the Designer Series paper is still on special this month, you can get it, a lot of them, at 15% off by the end of the month. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Please leave me a comment and feel free to share if you think someone else would enjoy it. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. Happy stamping, and I'll see you next time.